Let's go. Hinge at the hips, come on forward. Don't forget to breathe. While we're down here today, we're going to raise the right arm toward the center of the room. See if you can feel the left sit bone against the chair, and from that left sit bone, reach as far as you can toward the center of the room. Now we're going to raise the left arm, reach toward the center of the room. Reach as far as you can. Make sure you're reaching from the right sit bone out to the left fingertips. Give it a good long stretch. And we'll take that arm down. Would you please raise the right arm? Reach as far as you can toward the front of the room, the computer, the center of the room, whatever your relationship is. Move the hand forward as far as you can reach. And exhaling, take that arm down. We'll inhale up the left. Reach as far as you can. Exhale down. Inhale up the right. Reach as far as you can. Exhale, come on down. Inhale up the left. Reach as far as you can. And exhale, down you go. Would you please bring your hands up onto your knees? We're going to press forward with both hands. The elbows are at your side. The crown of the head is pressed away from the tailbone. We're going to lift the manubrium. That's the bone right at the top of the sternum and come all the way up. Would you please take your right leg forward? Sitting tall. We're going to hinge from the right hip. I have a fairly deep forward bend, so I'm going to step my left leg a little bit farther to the side so I don't have interference here. And I'm going to come forward, taking my time. Those hamstrings get tight if you're not stretching them all the time. So take your time, keep coming forward. You can put your left elbow on your left knee or put your right hand on your right leg somewhere. Make sure you're not pressing against the back of the knee. When your hand touches the floor, take the second hand down. If it doesn't, keep your hands on your leg. If your hands are on your leg, you want to make sure that you're pressing the heel down and drawing the toes back toward the knee. You're dorsiflexing the foot. You're moving it toward the top of the foot or the dorsal surface of the foot. And then you press the heel down, draw the toes back. You should feel the quadriceps activating, drawing the kneecap up into place. Continue with your forward bend. Try to remember to press the crown of the head away from the tailbone. And if you would please, let's bring our hands up onto the left knee. Your left elbow is down at your side. With your left hand, press forward. With the right hand, press down. Inhale, come on up. And we'll step that leg back, shake the leg. And we'll go to the second side. The left leg is forward. You're on the heel. The foot is perpendicular to the floor. You can step your right knee out to the side so you clear here. We're going to hinge in the hip. Come straight forward. Take your time. Remember, we always want to maintain the integrity of the torso. So keep going forward. If one hand touches the floor and you want to take the second hand down, be my guest, do that. But please don't reach for the floor. Get to the floor by hinging as far forward as you can in the hip. So the hamstring is getting a good long stretch. Once again, if your hands are on your legs in particular, you want to make sure that you're pressing the back of the heel against the floor, drawing the toes back toward the knee, sending energy out through the heel, the base of the heel, while you press the back of the heel against the floor. And the foot is as close to perpendicular to the floor as you can get it. Good. We'll bring our hands up onto the right knee. Would you please press forward with your right hand, pressing down, inhale, come on up. And we'll just go ahead and step that foot back, shake the leg. Now we'll sit way back in the chair, sitting all the way back in the chair. I'm going to separate the knees a wide distance. We're going to hinge from here, coming forward. We're going to feel as though the pelvis is just rotating around the heads of the femurs. As I come forward, I'm going to be careful not to start to look up to see where I'm going, but instead I'm going to keep the head and neck aligned with the torso, looking straight ahead of me without putting any kind of a kink in the back of my neck. Once I get down far enough that I can position my elbows and forearm, I bring them as close to the chair as I can, and I press the upper part of the forearm and the elbows against the flesh in the inner thigh. And now I'm going to press with the elbows out toward the knee, the knees. I'm going to give that a good stretch. I'll wait a minute, breathing into whatever tension I'm feeling. And then when I feel like I have the space to go a little bit farther, I use my arms to try to lift the chair up. While I do that, I lengthen the torso once again and just see if I can come a little bit farther forward, bringing the torso parallel or as close to parallel with the floor as you can get. Now pay attention to your feet. There's a tendency to want to do a turnout when we're doing this. Instead, I would prefer that you have the toes pointing in the direction that the knee is pointing. And while you're there, breathe. Pay attention to whatever tension you feel in your body. Breathe into that tension. See if you can release it with the breath. All right, we're going to take all of the tension out now. And before we come out of the pose, we're going to step the feet together slightly to take all of the tension out of the muscles. We'll bring our hands up onto our knees, and as before, keeping the elbows at our sides, we'll press forward with both hands pressing down. We'll inhale and come up. Good. We'll come near the front of the chair. So we're near the front of the chair now. Sitting tall, we're going to roll the shoulders back and down. Take your arms down to your sides, and if you would please reach down toward the floor. While you're reaching down toward the floor, feel how much energy you're able to run down the inside of the arm. To do that even more, open the palms and spread the fingers wide. Continue to press down and allow that energy that's moving down the underarm to lift the arms. So you're not using the shoulders, you're not using the muscles here as much as you are just extending the energy and allowing the arms to drift up. And you maintain that flow of energy from the heart all the way out through the fingertips. You're opening the heart, and we're going to spin the palms to face forward. And now we're going to start to retract or pull the shoulder blades together. You'll see that the arms are pulled back. And while we're back here, we're going to go ahead and spin the palms to face up. And we'll take the arms all the way up. Now there's a tendency to want to crowd the ears when you do this. Instead, keep the shoulders wide. Drop the shoulder blades for a moment. Depress them. While you're there, go ahead and further supinate the hands. That means roll the thumbs away from each other. You start to bring the outside edge of the little fingers in, the thumbs roll out. As I do that, I can feel my shoulder blades separating. Now I'm going to try to maintain that separation as I elevate. Now, as you elevate the arms, I'd like you to, at the same time, very gently roll the pelvis forward so that you really have great contact between the sits bones and the chair. Pay attention to the sits bones, and from the inside of the femur, feel as though you're creating two long parallel lines from there, right here, all the way up to the hand on both sides, keeping the shoulders wide. Please separate your feet slightly. Now, those of you who have problems with your back, I want you to be careful. If you have to, lower your arms and put them on your knees. Everybody else, if you feel like you can do this, join me. I'm going to hinge forward from the hips, coming straight forward. And I'm going to come as close to parallel to the floor with the torso and arms as I can. And then I'm going to send energy out through the fingertips and inhale, come up. And now we'll lower the arms. And we'll roll the left shoulder forward. We'll lift it and roll it back all the way and let it drop. We'll roll the right shoulder forward, lift it, roll it back as far as you can and let it drop. We can bring the knees slightly together now. And if you would please separate the elbows, straighten your arms. Begin to take the arms up, reach out so that the energy is what's lifting the arms. When you approach shoulder height, begin to spin the palms to face up, take the hands back a little way, squeeze the shoulder blades together, take the arms way up overhead, drop your hands behind the skull. To take the arms down, we're going to engage the shoulder blades and we're going to pull the elbows apart at shoulder height. We'll straighten the arms and we'll come the whole way down. Excuse me. Now we're going to go ahead and separate the elbows. We'll inhale. We'll continue that motion. We'll go the whole way up. Go up as far as you can go. Remember not to crowd the ears, but reach up. Keep the shoulders wide. Exhale, drop the hands. Using the shoulder blades, pull the elbows a little farther apart at shoulder height. Straighten the arms and down you go. And now we're going to inhale and go up. And we'll exhale and come down. And one more time, we'll inhale up. And we'll exhale coming down. And now if you would please roll the left shoulder forward, lift it, roll it back as far as you can and let it drop. Would you please roll the right shoulder forward, lift it, roll it back as far as you can and let it drop. We'll take the arms forward. And now, I think I may have some new people today. So I'm going to turn sideways for a moment. The arms are forward. And I'm going to retract or protract the shoulder blades. Watch what happens. And then I retract the shoulder blades. And then I protract. And I retract. I protract, retract, lower your arms. Now that you know the difference between a protraction and a retraction, we can boogie a little bit. The other relationship that I'm interested in here is I want you to become aware of the shoulder blades, as well as the front of the chest. We have a saddle of muscle that goes over the shoulder. Those muscles form the rotator cuff. A number of those muscles, 4 of them, form a rotator cuff. When you have the arms out to the sides like so, raise the arms, reach out, spin the palms to face forward. Now that you're here, I'd like you to reach a little farther to the left. As you do that, see if you can feel the chest and the shoulder blade moving to the side. Try not to lean like so, but instead stay right there in the center and reach. Now we're going to do the same thing on the right. I'm just going to reach. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to retract my shoulder blades. I'm going to pull them together. And what will happen is my arms will begin to be pulled back. Now we're going to reach out toward the fingertips again. We're going to make those arms really long. And we're going to start to form a big circle with the arms. And now we're going to raise the arms and we'll lower them. Inhale, go up. Exhale, come down. Inhale, go up. Exhale, come down. Inhale, go up. Exhale, come down. Inhale, up. Straighten your arms. Try not to crowd the ears. Elevate the shoulder blades. Reach the hands back as you take them down. Reach back, 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 back. Take them all the way down. And just let the arms relax at your sides. Step your feet together, no more than hip distance apart with the knees, because we want a little space here. We want to clear the knees, because now we're going to take the arms up. They're reaching in front of you. And now you're going to protract the shoulder blades. And we're going to keep the shoulders as open as possible. We'll inhale and take the arms up. And exhale, go all the way down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Reach the hands back as you take the arms down. It's a really big, big movement. Now we're going to separate the feet just a little bit more. You don't have to go to your max. There's no need to do that. We'll take the arms forward, like so. And now I'm going to cross at the wrist. Now, if I do an external rotation of the arms, if I attempt to supinate, in other words, supinate the hands, pressing the backs of the hands together, my elbows roll together. Do you see that action? So try to keep the elbows together as you reach toward the center of the room. And we're going to inhale and take the arms up as far as you can take them. And exhale, come on down. We'll inhale up. We'll exhale down. We'll inhale up. We'll exhale down. Now, while you do this time, pay attention to your shoulder blades. You should feel them moving. Inhale, go up. Exhale, come down. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Separate the arms. Take the arms back. Take the hands back as you take the arms all the way down to your side. So let's go ahead and swing the arms forward. And without thinking, cross at the wrist. More than likely you did the same cross. Change the cross. Once again, press the backs of the hands against each other as you attempt to supinate the arm and hand. And you'll bring the elbows closer together. If they're not touching, they will come closer together just with that little bit of effort. And now you're going to reach toward the center of the room, protracting the shoulder blades. And we'll inhale and go up. We'll exhale, come down. Pay attention to your shoulder blades as you go. You should feel some action across the upper back. Should actually feel pretty darn good to move those. And we'll go back all the way up. Separate your arms. As you take the arms down, reach back as far as you can and take the arms all the way down to your sides. We'll go ahead now and just roll the left shoulder forward. We'll lift it, roll it all the way back, let it drop. We'll roll the right shoulder forward. We'll lift it, we'll roll it the whole way back and let it drop. Take the arms forward. Let's bend the right elbow. Bring the left elbow under the right elbow. Fold the left arm. Don't turn the hands. Wrap the forearms around each other if you can, and with the fingers of the left hand, hold on to the heel of the thumb of the right hand. Press the elbows forward. Now, as you attempt to raise the arms, you should feel the shoulder blades rotating. The lowest tips of the shoulder blades feel like they're separating from each other. The upper corner of the shoulder blade feels like it might be rolling toward the center a little bit as the shoulder blades rotate. And now we'll take the elbows down. Take them down comfortably as far as they can go. Once you're down there, see if you can press down just a little bit more firmly. It's important to keep the forearms parallel to the body as you're doing this. Press down as firmly as you can. If you attempt to straighten the arms, you'll find that you don't go very far. And now, start to press the fingertips away. You should already begin to feel the shoulder blades engaging and separating. Take the arms all the way up while you're pressing the fingertips away. And now we'll bring the elbows down to shoulder height. And at shoulder height, we'll separate the hands, we'll separate the forearms, we'll separate the arms, and down you go. Go ahead and take the arms forward. And this time we will bend the left elbow. We'll bring the right elbow under. Now notice I'm not turning my hand. This is where a lot of people get into trouble. They start to turn their hands. Keep the hands in the position they started in. Fold. Try to bring the forearms, wrap them around each other. And then with the fingertips of the right hand, hold on to the heel of the left thumb. Press the elbows away from you, and if you would please begin to raise the fingertips toward the ceiling. Go up as far as you can go. Pay attention to how the shoulder blades have to move to accommodate that movement. And now we'll begin to take the elbows down. And we'll do it very comfortably, very easily, no tension at all. When they're down as far as they will go, press down a little more firmly. Should begin to feel a stretch in your shoulder, particularly for me, the left shoulder when I do this. When I was doing the other side, I felt it more in the right shoulder. And now I'm going to go ahead and attempt to straighten the arms. Again, I won't go very far. And while I'm in this position, I'm going to start to press the fingertips away from me and start to take the arms up. Keep pressing those fingertips away as you raise the arms. Feel what's happening in your upper back. Feel what happens as the shoulder blades rotate and the upper back stretches. And we're going to bring the elbows all the way down to shoulder height. At shoulder height, we'll separate the hands, we'll separate the forearms, we'll separate the arms, and we'll take the arms the whole way down. And now we'll take the arms forward. Let's go ahead and bend both elbows. Swing the arms apart. While you're there, take the shoulder blades down the back, open the chest. Take the elbows back a little bit farther. And now, if you would please, begin to lower the forearm until the forearm is parallel to the floor. Now, as you take the hands farther down, there's a tendency to want to bring the shoulder blades up like so. I want you not to do that. Go as far as you can without doing that. Keep the elbows at approximately at shoulder height. Do the best you can. And then we come up. And we'll go back down. And we'll come up. We'll go back down. We'll come up. We'll bring the hands and elbows together.
Supinate the hands. Hinge on the little finger side of your hand. That's supination. You know you're supinating when you know you can hold a cup of soup in your hand. If you go in the opposite direction, you're going to drop the bowl. So try to remember supination. Hold a cup of soup in your hands. The elbows are pressed together. You're going to go ahead and protract the shoulder blades, reaching the elbows toward the front or the center of the room. Go ahead and straighten the arms. Try to keep the elbows together. And we'll go ahead and fold. We'll come down. And out you go. So let's go ahead, come near the front of the chair, have your sits bones well positioned on the chair. I don't want you sliding off the chair as we move. It's not a very good idea to do that. Okay. What I'd like you to do is lengthen the front of the spine. See, I got a little bit longer there. To get to that position, I roll the pelvis forward. It's called anteversion of the pelvis. And I come up automatically. And now, maintaining this height, maintaining this integrity, I'm just going to come straight forward. Going to avoid looking up as I go forward. I'm going to stop with my elbows on my knees for a moment. And then I'm going to continue to go forward. Come as far forward as you can. Keep your elbows on your knees. Drop one hand down toward the floor. If you can't touch the floor, put your hand somewhere on your leg. If you can touch the floor, that's great. You get a gold star. How about that? And we'll go ahead and we'll take the other hand down. And now I'm going to see if I can further antevert the pelvis. When I'm down there as far as I think I can go, I'm going to swing the torso over toward the right leg. Bring my hands to either side of the right leg. If your hands are on your leg, keep them there. Hold on to the ankle or the knee or wherever you are with this. If your hands are on the floor, walk them over. And now we're going to walk the hands over to the left, swinging the torso to the left. And we're going to come back to the center. Now I'm going to swing the torso over to the right, taking the hands until they're on either side of the right leg. And this time I'm going to lengthen the spine and turn my head to look back. I'm going to see how far I can go. See if I can look all the way back to find my tail. See how far you can turn to look back. You should feel a pretty good squeeze of the belly against the thigh. And let's come back to the center. And now I'll walk my hands over to the left. I'm going to lengthen the spine. Try to keep the right knee where it started. And look back as far as you can. See if you can see your tail behind you. And come back to the center. So let's take a deep inhalation now. And as we exhale, we'll go to the right and we'll look back. Inhaling, we'll come back to the center. And exhaling, we'll go to the left and look back. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, center. Put your hands on your knees, everybody. Pressing down with both hands, your elbows are at your sides. Lift the manubrium.
It's that square bone at the top of the sternum. Press down and inhale, come on up.
So now that I know you can do that, of course, I'm not seeing anybody but myself. I'm going to have you come forward, only this time we're going to keep the elbows high. So we're going to come forward like so, and this time I'm going to keep the elbows way up there. I feel like a praying mantis. Now I'm going to press down on the knee, and I'm going to start to take the elbows toward the front of the room. Now, while I'm doing that, you can probably feel that the shoulder blades elevated slightly. That's great. Now I want you to lengthen the neck and lift the head to look up, to look ahead of you. Go as far as you can go with that. And now, if you would please, squeeze your shoulder blades against the back of your skull. Squeeze as deeply as you can. Squeeze a little bit harder. A little bit harder. Don't give yourself a headache. Do this with the shoulders, not with the skull. A little bit harder. And now drop your elbows down to your sides. Your hands are on your knees. You press forward. You lift the manubrium. You press down and inhale, come the whole way up. That felt kind of good. Trying to get the upper back loosened up. So let's just go ahead, step the feet together about hip distance apart, maybe a little bit wider, whatever you feel comfortable with. Your elbows are at your sides like so. While you're there, see how far you can separate the hand. If you go back here, you can go pretty far, but instead, keep your elbows at your sides. See how far you can go. And bring the hands back. Do it once again. And back. Keeping the elbows bent at 90 degrees, raise the elbows out to your sides. Bring them right up in line with the shoulders. And down you go. Let's do that again. And down you go. And let's do that again. And down you go. Now we're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together. You notice when I did that, I lifted here slightly, rolled the pelvis forward a little bit, and the arms, the hands, automatically separate slightly. I'm going to make a fist with both hands now, a very tight fist. And I'm going to pull the hands back. I'm going to see if I can bring my elbows together behind my back. I said I'm going to see. If you can do that, that's great. You're more open in the shoulders than I am. But if you can't, don't worry about it. Most of us can't. Continue to make a tight fist. Pull back as firmly as you can. Now, invert the pelvis just a little bit more. Start to lay the head back to look up. You might feel that in your lower back. That's okay. Let's see if we can lift out of the pelvic structure a little bit. See if you can lift the chest a little bit higher. Feel as though you're raising the whole torso up. You're getting the whole torso longer so that the head can go back even farther. And now, if your lower back will tolerate it, drop the skull all the way back. Just let the skull hinge back. If you put your tongue behind your jaw now and press your jaw toward the ceiling while you breathe through the mouth, you should feel a nice stretch there on the front of the neck, coming right from the chest all the way up to the tip of your chin. Try it. We're going to do all those things a little bit more. Pull the elbows farther back, press the elbows down, lift the chest, press the jaw toward the ceiling. Do all of that a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and release. So we're going to take that action a little bit higher now. We'll take the hands all the way up to shoulder height. Palms are facing down. Let's make a fist. Bend the elbows to 90 degrees. Pull the hands back. Pull them back a little bit farther. A little bit farther. Roll the pelvis forward. Lengthen the front of the spine. Lay the head back. If your lower back will tolerate it, allow the skull to drop back. While you're back there, I'd like you now to raise the shoulder blades against the back of the skull. Once again, we're squeezing those muscles at the base of the neck. Same thing we did when our hands were on our knees and we had rolled forward. We're doing the same thing now. Pull the hands back a little bit more. Raise the shoulder blades a little bit more. Lift the chest. Do all of that a little bit more, and a little bit more, and relax. So let's drop the chin down into the notch here at the top of the manubrium and the sternum. They call it the suprasternal notch because it's at the top of the sternum. So we're going to drop the chin down. Raise the chest against the chin, press the chin against the chest. And breathe. And bring the head to an upright position. We're going to turn to look to the right. Turn to look to the center. Turn to look to the left. Come back to the center. Turn to the right. Drop your chin down toward the right collarbone. Breathe. If you want, you can lift the collarbone against the side of the jaw. If you've lifted the collarbone, let it drop again. Bring the head to an upright position while you're still looking to the right. And now we're going to lay the head back to look up toward the ceiling. Now, if you've done this the right way, you'll be able to bring your left shoulder blade up to press against the mastoid bone on the left side. That's the bone behind the ear. So you can use your hand to help bring that shoulder up a little bit higher and give those muscles there at the base of the neck another good deep squeeze. Don't give yourself a headache. And if you would please drop the shoulder, bring the head to an upright position and turn to face forward. We're going to turn to the left now, and we'll drop the chin down to the left collarbone. And now we'll raise the collarbone against the side of the jaw. We're squeezing those muscles there on the front of the neck. So give them a good deep squeeze while you're breathing. And we'll bring the head to an upright position. With the head still turned to look to the left, drop the skull back, looking up at the ceiling. Raise your right shoulder blade against the mastoid bone behind the right ear. The right mastoid bone there at the back of the skull. So now if you would please give those muscles a really good squeeze while you're breathing. And bring the head to an upright position. Would you please turn to face forward? Now we're going to drop the chin down to the chest. And this time we'll roll the right ear toward the right shoulder. Continue to look straight ahead while you're doing this. Now we're going to start to take the head back. And as we take the head back, you should feel the whole torso adjusting to allow the skull to drop back. And now we're going to take the left ear and we're going to roll it over to the right, to the left shoulder. And we're going to drop the chin and head forward, bringing the chin back to its starting position near the suprasternal notch. As we go to the right and back this time, we'll inhale. And we'll exhale as we go to the left and forward. Twice on your own with the breath. Take your time. If there are any places that you find tension and you want to take a moment to examine that tension, please be my guest. You're not going to hold up the class. The class doesn't know what you're doing. Make sure you continue the breathing. And when you're done, just bring the head to an upright position. So when we move in the opposite direction, we're accessing all these muscles in a different way. So once again, we'll drop the chin down into the suprasternal notch. And this time we'll start by taking the left ear toward the left shoulder. And we'll lay the head back to look up. And we'll take the right ear over the right shoulder. And we'll drop the head forward, bringing the chin into the suprasternal notch. We're going to inhale as we go to the left and back. And we'll exhale as we go to the right and forward. Now twice again on your own with the breath. And bring the head to an upright position. Let's go ahead and turn to look to the right. Turn your head and neck as far as you can go. Don't strain the neck. And turn to face forward. Remember, we're maintaining the integrity. We're not dropping the head or lifting the head as we do this. Very often people will do that. They'll go like this or like this. Instead, stay right there. And then we go to the other side. And come back. Let's do that once again. Turn to the right. Turn to the center. Turn to the left. Come to the center. Drop the chin down toward the suprasternal notch. Turn the head to look to the right. Go as far as you can. Come back to the center. Turn to look to the left. Go as far as you can. And come back to the center. To the right. Center. Left. Center. Bring the head to an upright position. Anytime we drop the head back, we want to balance that by rolling the pelvis forward slightly, and we'll lay the head back to look up. If you want to, you can drop the skull all the way back, if your lower back will tolerate that. And now we're going to turn to look to the right. And we'll come to the center. Look to the left, come to the center, to the right, center, left, center, and just go ahead now and bring the head to an upright position. Make sure you're well positioned on the chair. The ASIS is this bone here at the top of the hip. You can feel it. I call them the bikini bones. These are the bones that everybody shows off when they're in a bikini, okay? We're going to roll the left one forward, and we'll roll it back. Try that again. Try not to move anything but the pelvis. Everything else adjusts to allow that to happen, but I don't want you turning the body as you do that. Just bring that hip forward, resist the urge to turn the torso, and drop it back. We're going to do the same thing now on the right, and drop it back. Do it once again, and drop it back. Bring your elbows to your sides. Turn in the waist. Go as far as you can go. It won't be that far. You'll be surprised. And come back. Turn to the other side. And come back. I'm going to the right first. Come back to the center. I go to the left. Come back to the center. We know how far the head will move. If we put the whole thing together, we do what is called a twist. Bring your knees so that they're about hip distance apart. Roll the left side of the pelvis forward. Turn in the waist. Take your left hand and put it on the outside of the right knee. Turn the head and neck. So you've gone a pretty good distance without effort. Now, if we begin to exert effort, we want to make sure that we keep the right knee stable with that left hand. If you're comfortable doing this, you can reach to the side or the back of the seat. Hold on to the seat. Keeping the knee stable, the right knee, roll the left side of the pelvis a little farther forward. Turn a little more deeply in the waist. Turn the head and neck a little bit farther. If you want to, you can take your hand, your right hand, farther back. For me, it goes to the opposite side of the seat. It goes to the left side of the seat. And I continue to turn. Pull the belly to the backbone. Make sure that you haven't compromised the lumbar curve. If the pelvis is anteverted, the way I'm asking you to do it, the lumbar curve is in place. And we're going to release all of the tension and we'll come out of there. For those of you who are new to class, the lumbar curve is very important as you do these rotations, because very often people will turn, but instead of lengthening the turn, which feels actually pretty noble, pretty elegant, okay, what people will do is drop and turn like this. And that's putting a terrible tension on your lower back, okay? So we want to maintain that alignment. And that happens when we start movement from the pelvis and the pelvis is engaged in the twist, okay? So now that you understand why I'm so clear about giving you these instructions, it's to keep the spine, to keep the torso properly aligned as you do this and most other actions, okay? So there's an awareness that will sort of drift into the rest of your life once you begin to work this way. So now we're going to bring the right side of the pelvis forward. We'll take the right hand and put it on the outside of the left knee. Now with the left hand, we'll reach to the side of the back of the chair, and then we'll turn in the waist. We'll turn the head and neck. Now you've probably gone far enough that you can reposition your left hand once again. Keeping the left knee stable with the right hand, use the arms, turn as deeply as you can to the left. If you pull the belly to the backbone, make sure you're rolling the right side of the pelvis forward to accommodate maintaining that lumbar curve. Go as deeply as you can. Release all of the tension and come all the way around to the front. Good. Let's go ahead while we're sitting here. Take the left arm all the way up into the air. Spin the palm to face the center as you're there. From the sit bone and the inside of the femur, probably from someplace around the lesser trochanter on the inside of the femur, we're going to reach up as far as we can, elevating the shoulder. The right hand is going to reach down toward the floor, and you're going to really begin to lengthen. See that movement? I'm going to see if I can get this whole flank to stretch. And to do that, keeping the shoulder wide, keeping the shoulder from doing this with the ear, but reaching, and then reach across the body. Reach down toward the floor. Now, if you bring your right hand onto your right ribs and press the ribs to the left and reach a little bit more, you should feel a pretty good stretch here in the intercostals on the left flank of the body. And let's go ahead and take that arm down. Good. We'll do that on the second side. We'll take the right arm up. Now try not to compress the ear with that. Reach up as far as you can. Reach down with your left hand. Now we're going to start to reach across the body. We'll take the ribs slightly to the right. We begin to feel a stretch here in the right flank. And now we're going to take the left hand, put it on the left side of the ribs. We're going to press the ribs to the right, and then we're going to reach even farther over toward the left with the right hand. And we'll take that arm all the way down. Drop the other hand. Good. Let's go ahead and go to the left side of the chair. Step the left foot out to the side. Now you notice I'm being very careful as I position that left foot. I'd like to keep the foot as close to perpendicular to the floor as I can. And then I look straight ahead as though both legs were in front of me. Now I have the right knee slightly to the side. So when I come straight forward, this bikini bone, the anterior superior iliac spine of the right side of the pelvis, comes forward, and it actually goes slightly to the inside of the femur. So I can go down pretty far. I can begin to feel a stretch here in this outer hip area. I can feel sort of a widening of the pelvic structure as I come forward. I certainly feel all of these muscles around the head of the femur wanting to soften to allow me to go farther forward. Now, if I wanted to lengthen the spine a bit, I take my right arm and bring the elbow to the outside of the right knee. Pressing the elbow against the knee, I'm going to see if I can lengthen the spine. And as I do that,
I feel my hip responding, and I feel that I'm able to go just a bit farther forward. Now I'm going to drop the hands down to the floor. If your hands are on your legs, please keep them there. If you can touch the floor, that's great. We're going to walk the hands to a point halfway between the 2 feet. And once we're in that position, we'll see if we can hinge a little bit farther forward, bending the elbows toward you. Pay attention to the adductor on the left side. That's that long muscle that goes from the inner groin down to the knee. There's a long muscle called the gracilis muscle. We want to stretch the belly of that muscle. We don't want the stretch to be at the insertion of that muscle down by the knee. So if you're feeling anything in your knee, you need to bring that left foot in a little bit closer. And now we're going to continue to swing the torso, walk the hands over to the left, and see if you can bring the hands to either side of the left leg and continue to hinge forward. Enjoy the stretch. And we're going to come all the way back now to the right side. Walk your hands over. Bring your hands onto the right knee. Pressing forward with the right hand, pressing down with the left. Pressing the crown of the head away from the tailbone. Come on up. And we'll go ahead and we'll step that foot in. Bring it over, shake the leg a bit. Sitting comfortably on the chair, let's go ahead and bring the left foot across the right knee, like so. I'm going to lean forward and hook my left elbow on the left knee. If you can't do that, hold on with your left hand and give that knee some support. We also want to drive the knee toward the hip socket, okay? So that as we turn to face straight ahead, we're supporting that leg. As we hinge forward from the hips, be mindful of what you're feeling in your knee. If you press the knee toward the hip socket, you'll find that you can rotate around the head of the femur a little bit more. I don't care how far you go with this. I care that you go carefully. So be very, very mindful of what you're feeling in that hip. As you rotate forward from the hip, you rotate the torso forward, coming around the head of that femur. Be very mindful of what you're feeling. Now we're going to inhale and come up. Before we step this foot down, we're going to lift the knee slightly. And then we'll step the foot down, shake the leg, straighten it in case I've created any kind of a kink in your knee. Great. And now while you're sitting there, we'll bring the left knee over the right. And sitting up tall, we'll try to align the knees with the center of the torso. And then we're going to hinge from the hips and come forward, squeezing the belly against the thigh. Try to keep the spine well integrated. Come as far forward as you can comfortably. Let the belly get a good deep squeeze there, particularly on that left side. Give it a good squeeze. And inhaling, come up. And now, if you would please, bring that foot onto the chair. Bring the left foot onto the seat next to you if you can, or hold it. Sit up tall.
Let's come forward once again. It's going to feel different. Now I begin to feel it more in the outer left hip. These are called the abductors. You've got the gluteal muscles. Piriformis muscle gets a bit of a stretch here, and you get this outer layer of muscle that are the abductors. Those are the muscles that move the leg away from the body. The adductors bring the leg toward the center. So the abductors take it away, the adductors bring it in. So you should feel those abductors right now. Some people will feel a bit of discomfort in the groin when they do this because the muscles of the inner groin don't relax to allow you to come forward. And we'll inhale and come up. Let's go ahead and step that foot down. Muscles I'm talking about are here right at the very top of the leg and the inner groin area. If those don't release when you're doing that last movement, you'll feel a bit of tension in there. So while you're sitting here to the side of the chair, stay there. I'm going to turn so you can see what I'm up to now. All right. So I'm sitting, I'm sort of half-assed. I've got one hip on the chair, one hip off the chair, and I'm going to raise the left foot, left leg, hold on to the left ankle, and drop the knee down toward the floor. Now, the next part about this is the weight of that leg back there allows me to draw the shoulder blade back and down. So I really feel that I'm able to raise this side of the chest quite a lot more. Now I'm getting a good stretch already in the quadriceps. Those are the long muscles on the front of the thigh. To increase that, I'm going to lift the foot behind me. You'll see the knee is going back a little bit. It's a pretty darn good stretch, so be careful. I didn't mention this a moment ago, but please, with your right hand, hold on to the seat or the leg of the chair on the right side so that you don't go rolling out of the chair. Give it a good stretch, take the tension out, bring the knee forward, step the foot down, shake the leg. Or are we happy that's almost over? Good. Let's turn to face the center. While we're working on the left side, let's continue working on the left side. Okay? The sole of the foot is called the plantar surface of the foot. So if you step the foot forward, your heel is against the floor, the foot is perpendicular to the floor. If you plantar flex, it means that you're going to move toward the plantar surface. You're going to take the toes and pull them in, and you're going to take the toes all the way down to the floor. So you now have the foot, the toes pointed. You should be feeling a stretch on the front of your ankle, the top of the foot. Step your right knee slightly to the side and come forward. Bring your elbow onto your right knee. I've got my other hand here on the leg. I'm doing my best to make sure that I have that kneecap drawn up into place so that I can't hyperextend the knee. And then I want to make sure also that I'm not looking out like this. Of course, I'm looking up to talk to you, but I prefer that you try to keep the head and neck neutral as you hinge to come forward. Keep coming forward. Come as far forward as the hamstring, as the muscles there on the top of the foot, front of the ankle will allow you to. Come as far forward as you can. You might be able to touch the floor. Don't reach for the floor, but if you drop the hands and they go down to the floor, that's great. Otherwise, keep your hands on your legs. Be honest with yourself. Don't do my pose. Do your pose, and you'll be fine. If you do my pose, in some places I'm a pretty loose guy, so you might get in a little bit of trouble trying to do that.
And I have a lot of areas of tension in my body too, and I want to always make sure that I'm paying attention to where that tension is and how I move through it. If I try to jam my way through, I get into trouble. So now we're going to press the heel forward. As we do that, we're going to dorsiflex. So we're going to move the foot toward the top of the foot, the dorsal surface of the foot. The foot is now perpendicular to the floor. I see if I can go just a little bit deeper into that forward bend. Take your time, there's no rush. Good. Would you please bring your hands up onto your right knee? Press forward, press down, inhale, come up. And if you would, please step that foot back, shake the leg. And while we're working on the right side, we'll go just a little bit farther. Go ahead, we're going to plantar flex once again. And we're going to step the foot back under us. We're going to put the top of the foot against the floor underneath the chair. Once you're there, press down gently. See if you can increase the stretch there on the top of the foot and the front of the ankle. And to go even a little bit farther with that, glue the top of the foot to the floor and try to move the knee forward. Engage the leg. Make the leg strong as you try to pull the knee forward, but don't allow the foot to come forward. Keeping the foot plantar flexed, the toes are curled under. Slide the foot forward. Come as far forward as you can, comfortably. You might not be able to get very far with the toes curled under, but come as far as you can. If you can bring the lower leg, the calf, perpendicular to the floor, that's great. If you can't, don't worry about it. Once you get there, wherever you are, press down gently, and then try to move the heel farther forward. So by pressing down, we sort of glue the toes to the floor, and then we press the heel forward. And you might, if you look down now, you'll probably see that you're getting a pretty good arch. We're going to come out of there now. We'll step the foot out. We'll roll the foot around. And once again, plantar flexing. I'm going to press those toes, the pointed toes, against the right heel. I'm going to press the outside edge of the left foot down toward the floor. I want to make sure that my knees are no more than hip distance apart. If I look down, I should see a right angle between the 2 feet. See if you can accomplish that. Now, some people can only go this far with the foot. That's okay. Relationships are important. All of our problems end up being problems of relationship. So pay attention to the relationships as you do this so that the body is positioned in a way that you can avoid injury. And if you're paying attention to what your body is telling you, you'll be fine. And we're going to step the foot out of there and just move the foot around. So the old timers that are here today might wonder why I'm talking so much and giving such instruction. It's because I believe we may have a number of new people with us today. Okay, so let's go ahead and with the foot flat against the floor now, lift the heel, keeping the toes against the floor, slide the foot back, but only go back as far as you can, feeling the entire toe, all 5 of them, against the floor, flat against the floor. So we're bending in the metatarsal joint. The toes are now dorsiflexed. The sole of the foot itself, the body of the foot, is plantar flexed. And we're pressing the metatarsal joints, or the balls of the toes, down against the floor. And we can do that because the toes are flat against the floor. You don't want to lose contact there. Some people want to take the foot back even farther, and what happens is they begin to take the metatarsal joint off the floor.
We want it to be there because now we're going to go to the ball of the big toe or the first metatarsal joint. We're going to try to move the knee forward so we stretch the big toe, and then we'll go to the second metatarsal joint. We'll try to move the heel forward, stretch that second toe. Let's go to the third. See if you can feel that third metatarsal joint against the floor, and then lift the heel, press it forward slightly. And then you go to the fourth metatarsal joint. See if you can feel that joint against the floor, and then move the heel forward to stretch the fourth toe, and finally the little toe. So press the metatarsal joint down, and then move the heel forward slightly to stretch the little toe. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to place one metatarsal joint at a time down against the floor. We're going to press it down. We're going to work our way back and forth across the foot very slowly, making sure that you're pressing each metatarsal joint down independently of the others as you go. But the others just go for the ride. But shift your focus from one to the next, to the next, to the next. So that as you go back and forth, you're actually trying to create a little more flexibility in the metatarsal arch of the foot. Now, with the foot in that position still, I'm going to put my hand here so you can very clearly see how the knee remains aligned with the hip. Now I'm going to go to the ball of the big toe. I'm going to rotate the heel to the inside. I'm going to press down and back. I'm going to come up. I'm going to transfer to the ball of the little toe. I'm going to take the heel to the outside and press down and back. I'm going to go back and forth several times. Now I know that you can all see my hand, and I'm trying to keep it right there in that same line of motion. While the ankle and the foot stretch in all these different directions, the knee is going straight up and down. I mean, there's some wiggle there, but not a whole lot. And we're going to come out of there now and just roll the foot around. Would you please place your left foot flat against the floor and lift only the big toe? Press the other toes down while you're doing that. And drop the big toe. Let's go ahead and move that around. So now if we went for a walk, you'd feel like you were ready to walk in circles because one side is loose, the other side we haven't done, right? So we're going to go over to the right side of the chair. And I'm going to step my right foot out to the side. I hope you can see that. The foot is as close to perpendicular to the floor as I can get it. I have the kneecap drawn into place. The heel is pressed down. Now, I've got no rug out there, and that floor is slippery, so I want you to be careful that it doesn't slide away from you too much while you're doing this. So make sure at all times that you're positioned that you can easily come out of the pose if you must. That begins to slide, you can see that there's a potential for injury there. You can go too far and get too long a stretch here in the gracilis muscle. And again, we want to make sure that that stretch is felt here, from here to here, where the belly of the muscle is, not at the attachment at the knee. So if you're feeling tension in the knee when you're doing this, you just slide the foot in a little bit, that's all. It'll take the pressure off, and as this becomes more flexible, maybe there's an adhesion, part of the muscle stuck to other structures, to other muscles. As that changes, you should be able to keep the foot all the way out to the side. Now we're going to come straight forward again. If you want to leverage a little extra length in your spine, bring the left elbow to the outside of the knee, press back against the knee, and see if you can leverage a little extra length in your spine. As you do that, you'll probably feel that the hip releases somewhat. Pay very close attention to what you're feeling in that right leg. If there's too much stress in there as you're coming forward, you want to slide that foot back toward the center.
When you're down there as far as you can go, begin to swing the torso to a point halfway between the 2 feet. If your hands are on the floor, great. If they're on your legs, keep them there. See if you can hinge a little farther forward in the hips, from the hips. And now we're going to swing the torso farther over to the right. Walk your hands over until they're on either side of the right leg. Continue to do a forward bend over the right leg. Breathe into any tension you're feeling. Make sure you're not putting pressure on the back of the knee by pressing the heel down, drawing the toes back, trying to dorsiflex the ankle a bit more. And now we're going to swing the torso all the way back over to the left side. We'll bring our hands onto the left knee. We'll press forward, press down, and inhale, come on up. If you would, please bend the knee. Step the right foot over to join the left. Shake the leg a bit. Get yourself well positioned on the chair. And we'll go ahead and bring that right ankle over the left knee like so. Be mindful of what you're feeling in your knee. We're going to protect the knee by holding on to it this way. Or if you can reach out and get your elbow around the knee, I like doing that. That feels really good to me. It also gives me an opportunity to sort of use that as a lever to keep the spine long. Sometimes if I'm here, I'm sort of sitting back. I really want to make sure that I'm inverting the pelvis as I begin to move forward and protecting the knee. So I'm here and I'm just going to go ahead now. I'm going to hinge the torso straight forward. If I press the femur toward the hip socket, I feel like I can get just a little more movement around the head of that femur. The whole pelvis just sort of rotates around the head of the femur. A little bit more. And now I'm going to inhale and come up. Before I step the foot down, I'll lift the knee to protect it. And then I'll step the foot down, shake the leg a bit, and I'll straighten it a couple of times, just in case I put a kink in there somewhere. Good. Now, while we're here, I'd like you to be slightly to the right side of your chair. See if you can leave a little space here on the left side. If you can, that's great. If not, don't worry about it. Bring the right knee over the left, and then reaching down. Well, wait a minute. I'm gonna do both of these stretches. I want to just come straight forward with the leg in this position. So make sure that you're moving. You have the torso square with the legs. You've got the knee pretty much in line with the center of the torso, and you come forward. You can really feel the belly getting a good squeeze here. Draw the belly to the backbone. Give those organs a good deep squeeze. That also gives you an opportunity to come a little bit farther forward. Good. Inhale, come on up. And if you would, please, holding on to that ankle, let's bring that foot right up next to you on the left side of the chair, next to your left hip. Sit up tall. Come forward. Inhale, come up. Step the foot down. Shake the leg. And now, so you can see me, you don't have to move. All you have to do is stay to the side of the chair. I'm doing this so you can see what I'm doing. And I want to make sure that you're holding on to the left side of the chair with your left hand. Hold on to the right ankle with your right hand. Drop the knee down toward the floor.
Allow the weight of the leg to pull the shoulder back and down. Already I'm getting a good stretch in the quadricep. And then if I try to lift the leg behind me, I get an even deeper stretch. I'm going to hold that for a minute because those are hard muscles to stretch. We use them all the time. Every step we take, we're using those leg muscles. Good. And we'll go ahead and swing the knee forward and step the foot down, shake the leg. We'll come around to the center and coming near the front of the chair, we'll go ahead, straighten the leg. We're going to plantar flex. We'll move the foot in the direction toward the sole of the foot. Toes are pointed now. I want to try to make sure that knee is straight. And now we're going to hinge forward from the hip. If you can comfortably touch the floor, do that. If your hands are on your knee, please make sure the leg is strong. Now, press the heel away from you, raise the foot. We're going to now dorsiflex the foot. As you do that, you're going to press the heel away from you as you press it down toward the floor. Hinge as deeply as you can in the hip. Breathe into the tension. Now bring your hands onto your left knee, press forward, press down, inhale, come all the way up. And bend the knee, shake the leg a bit. And once again, we're going to plantar flex. And now we'll bend the knee and we'll take the top of the foot and place it against the floor, press down. Sit up tall. Try to move the knee forward without allowing the foot to come with it. So press the top of the foot down and glue it to the top, to the floor. The top of the foot, glue it to the floor, and then try to move the knee forward. And now giving up that tension, go ahead, keep the toes curled under, slide the foot forward, press the heel forward. Should feel a good stretch there on the front of the ankle and the top of the foot. Good. We'll come out of there and just roll that foot around. And then plantar flexing once again, we'll tap the pointed toes against the left heel. We'll press the outside edge of the right foot down toward the floor. Try to keep the knees about hip distance apart. Not more than that, because when you go out here, you lose that stretch in the ankle. So I don't care how far down that foot goes, I care that you're getting into the right place. And then we're going to step out of there, roll the foot around, make it happy. Putting the foot flat against the floor, we're going to raise the heel, slide the toes back. Don't go back so far that you feel that the metatarsal joints leave the floor. You want to make sure the toes themselves are flat against the floor. Okay, and once you're in a happy position, we'll go to the ball of the big toe and we'll try to move the heel forward to stretch the big toe. And then we'll go to the ball of the second toe and we'll try to stretch the second toe. We'll go to the ball of the third toe. We'll go to the fourth. We'll go to the fifth. And then one metatarsal joint at a time presses down against the floor as we rock the foot back and forth a little bit. The knee moves a little bit. You can exaggerate that if you want. You know, sometimes people do. The important thing is what we're feeling in the arch of the foot. And now we're going to keep that knee right in line with the hip. We'll roll to the ball of the big toe and we'll press the heel to the inside, press it down, press it back, bring it up. Transfer to the ball of the little toe, press the heel to the outside, press down and back, come up, and go back and forth several times. Try to keep that right knee tracking up and down right in line with the head of the femur. Right in line with the hip socket there. Good, and we'll come out of there and just roll the foot around. Put the right foot flat against the floor and lift only the big toe. Press the other toes down. Drop the big toe. Shake both legs a little bit. Be happy that's over. We're at the end of our time, so we'll sit back in the chair and for 1 minute, we'll just close our eyes, let our bodies breathe. Thoughts may come, let them go. Most important is to pay attention to the breathing. It's always in your favor. That can't be said for all thoughts, but it can be said for the breath. If you would please bring your hands together in prayer position in front of your heart. Slowly open your eyes, become aware of the room once again. Namaskar to me. Thank you all for coming. I'll see you guys on Friday. I look forward to it.